If you isolate yourself, you are going to turn into a well-oiled psychopath. There are some people out here, honestly, there are more people out here than I thought, who actually have the notion that being isolated is not good. You know, it either exposes the childhood trauma that you have, or it just shows that your life is going to go down into a poop-filled toilet that's going to get flushed down into a poop-filled manhole sewage pipe. As somebody who went through self-induced prolonged isolation for, I'm embarrassed to say how long, I understand where some of these people are coming from. But before I talk about it, we're going to look at them. Give them the stage.
Prolonged isolation doesn't just make you lonely. It absolutely destroys your ability to socialize and communicate. And if you don't hear this from anyone else, take it from me. Isolation absolutely feels great in the beginning. There's no denying. You get to control your time, you develop a routine, you stay out of the mix. But once you do this for a while, what you're not factoring in is your social skills have a shelf life. What once was easy for you now becomes difficult. You go out there, you try to talk to people, and you feel overstimulated. Your mind-to-mouth connection has reduced. You find yourself going blank often. You find yourself just being a spectator in groups. You don't really say anything anymore.
I never heard that mind-to-mouth connection. That sounds like the craziest freaked out video of all time.
Your social awareness has reduced. And because that is uncomfortable and it's overstimulating, and isolation has now become your identity, you go back home and you are reluctant to going out. Which is why the earlier you nip this in the bud, the better for you. If you want me to make another video as to how you can really break out of this, comment down below. But
see, I think that's almost a surface level. That's a surface level argument, you know, saying that if you isolate yourself too much, then you're going to lose your ability to talk to people. First of all, the day we live in nowadays, most people don't really want to talk anyway. You know what I mean? Now, I do think that the whole thing of where you live plays a big part in how your life is going to turn out. Really not even like just talking about countries. I'm talking about like within countries, like states, you know what I'm saying? Provinces, if you live outside the states and all that. But really, it's just like a lot of people in America nowadays, bro, we don't want to talk. You know, if you're a stranger, I mean, we'll be cordial for like maybe 15 to 30 seconds. But outside of that, it's like, you know. And on top of that, I also do think that friends, I can see where he's coming from when he says, you know, when you isolate yourself for a good amount of time, then you try to go hang out with friends again, it's going to be like, oh, damn, I don't even know what the hell, I don't even know when to barge into a conversation. But I also think that's a little, I see where he's coming from, you know. I don't want to sit here and say like, oh yeah, no, that he's lying, you're always going to know what to say all the time. No, because sometimes, I mean, I can even take from experience when I isolated myself, right, when I came back to actually speaking to people who I didn't either live with or, you know, who I weren't like actually close to. It was just like, damn, I don't really even know like what to talk about no more, really, you know. But I guess that was a little bit different for me because I'm an extrovert anyway, so, you know, I'm just like, I'm gonna find some shit to talk about. You know, you might not want to talk about it, but damn it, I will, you know. A lot of people don't like that, you know, and I also think that it depends on the type of person you are too, because the most extroverted, friendliest, talkative person in the world can isolate themselves. Now, their isolation is probably going to be different from somebody who has high inhibition, but when it comes to somebody who's high inhibition, they're probably not going to, they can still go out every single day for multiple years in a row and probably still have a high inhibition. You know, high inhibition comes from past trauma, you know what I'm saying? Which leads into our next conversation.
If you self-isolate when life gets hard, when life gets bad, when life becomes a fight and a struggle, if you push everyone away and you self-isolate, it goes to show how much childhood trauma you have, that you've had to pull yourself out of every dark place mentally and physically alone, that you've never had any support there, that you've always had to do this by yourself, and that's the only way it can ever be now. And that's not the case, man. Believe me, you deserve the healing, you deserve the love, you deserve the support. And even if the support's just somebody there to listen, that makes a difference, and that makes everything easier. You're worth the healing, you're worth the self-care, you're worth the self-love. You're amazing, you're wonderful, you're beautiful, you're smart. You deserve it. So
yes, you are. Yes, you are. You watching this video right now, if you made it this far into the video, you are the most beautiful person on this planet, and I love you. I hope I didn't just scare you off. Please come back. So basically, if you've isolated yourself for a prolonged period of time, it just amplifies your past childhood traumas that you clearly have. And, you know, that's another surface level comment to the fact of, you know, some people need to isolate themselves no matter if they lived a wonderful childhood or not. I mean, I honestly, now this is what I personally think. I think pretty much everybody has gone through some trauma in their young life when they were a child, no matter if it's, you know, some crazy trauma, right, where it was clearly illegal. I'm not going to get into it, but, you know, some illegal stuff going on. Or if you guys are wondering why I'm like sitting so weird and keep putting my hand down here, Moonert is down here. Woo! It is a sleepy Moonert. Boop. I said boop. Oh. Oh, he be acting funky sometimes, y'all. I honestly think that most people, if not everybody, has gone through some BS in their childhood before, no matter what that is. It can come in all shapes, forms, you know what I'm saying, conversations, actions, something that happened, you got in a fight, you know, something that has to do with your parents, your guardian that was supposed to love you, somebody abused you, you know what I'm saying, like anything. I think most of us have gone through something. It might not look the exact same as what the next person is going through, but we have had some shit happen in our lives, right? But no matter what has happened to you in your life, I think that isolation shouldn't stem from that. You know, you can be far healed from that and still understand, like, damn, I need to, you know what I'm saying, I got some stuff going on right now that I just need to handle by myself. Because honestly, the world is changing so much, y'all, and I don't want to sit here and turn this video into, man, the world ain't what it used to be, man. This ain't, I wish I grew up in the 1970s. No, bro. I mean, yeah, the 1970s and 80s, I love movies and I love funk music, so, you know, I'm pretty sure I would have just bombed out in the 1970s and 80s, probably would have been on crack. But I mean, you know, it's just like, yeah, it seems like it would have been cool to grow up back then, but I mean, I don't want to turn this video into that. But nowadays, times are just different now, bro. No, I didn't grow up in the 80s when I can literally like see firsthand, I experienced firsthand how different it was. But I mean, I get told all the time from older people, I listen to older people. I listen to people who are older than me. A lot of people my age don't want to like listen. Man, sit down, old man. Sit down, unk, man. We ain't trying to listen to that old ass shit from you. I get it, but it's like old people can, even if they be talking some BS sometimes, a little bit of the truth and a little bit of knowledge spills out if you listen. You know what I'm saying? I listen, and times are just different now, bro. A lot of people are going through stuff. A lot of people don't have the time to deal with what you got going on. You know what I'm saying? So if nobody else can do it, if people in your life are going through some stuff of their own, which people have always gone through stuff of their own, but it's like now it's different, man. Most people don't have money. You know what I'm saying? It's either you have money or you don't. It's not like we have enough money just to get by. That barely exists no more, right? So relationships, I mean, people don't know if they're gonna have a job today and not have a job tomorrow because of a damn robot. You know what I mean? Women don't like men, men don't like women, kids are bad as ever, teachers are saying F these kids. It's just like so much stuff is going on. You will have to, I think we're going to have to start teaching the next generation how to respect and love being by yourself. Now, that doesn't mean you need to always be by yourself. Right, I'm gonna get into that more later on in this video, but
spending too much time alone will literally ruin your life. And yes, even if you are spending that time wisely by being productive or working on yourself, because even if you are being productive, even if you are learning about yourself, a lot of this is theory. We as humans, we don't operate by ourselves. We are communal creatures, we need each other. So yes, you can spend weeks learning about psychology, learning about your brain, learning about how communication and socializing work, but if you don't actually put it into practice, it's just theory. You can take this from me. I'm someone who spent literally 2 years of my life just sitting in my room, reading books, watching YouTube videos, listening to podcasts, learning about my brain, learning about healing psychology. And I realized that I didn't know how to put any of it into practice because I was in my room all the time. And the funny thing about spending a lot of time alone is that you start to believe your own bullshit. When you don't have other people's opinions, other people's voices, other perspectives in your life that are actually informed, you start to create a internal world for you that is based on nothing but yourself. And yes, that could work in your benefit, and you could become someone who's more confident and believes in themselves, but you could also become someone who is extremely negative, someone who's extremely afraid of the unknown, someone who has high levels of anxiety. So it's far more important to actually test out the theory that you've been learning in isolation in the real world. And the funny thing is, you actually learn a lot more from actually doing than you do from learning. You learn far more by having conversations with real humans than you do from just thinking about having conversations with people. And the more time that you spend alone, the harder it is going to be to get out of that zone. Because your brain will get so accustomed to your isolation that it will start to tell you that it's your only option. It will start to tell you that the outside world is not safe. And it's not perfect.
Now, I do think what he said was it actually had a lot of truth in it. You know, first of all, you know, the whole thing about actually being able to learn from other. Harry died, that's my fault, y'all. But what I was saying was, I do believe that listening, and I just said that, you know, listening to other people and taking the experience from other people, especially people who are wiser and who have gone through something that you might want to know about, you can hear it firsthand from, you know, from a source, you know. But I also think that technology has solved a little bit of that, because you won't be able to actually have a conversation with that person, but actually learning about certain things that you want to learn about, we can do that from this thing right here. Now, you know, we don't have to travel far and wide to the valley in the mountains to get, you know, a life lesson from an old ass man with a long beard. You know what I'm saying? We can actually learn a lot about life and what we want to learn about from the internet, right? But I also do think that, you know, what he's saying is right. Both in this situation, I think both sides of the coin are true. You know, you can still get more experience from just going out and living your life. I do think that is true. But again, you know, I'm still sitting in the world changing right before our eyes, right? I mean, it's been so long since we've had just the rich and the poor, but that's like where stuff is going now. You know what I'm saying? That's where we're heading. You know, you're either rich or you're poor. There's no middle ground no more. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't particularly know if there's ever been a time where women and men have hated each other so damn much. You know what I'm saying? I just did a video on K-pop, you know, and you know, South Korea and all that. And if you look and see the divide between men and women in South Korea, it is scary. We think we got it bad over here. Oh my God. So shout out to South Korea. I love y'all out there. You know, hopefully whenever I visit one day, I'm loved just as much. But when it comes to like the dichotomy and the relationship between men and women, it's bad out there. It's bad. It's really bad. So times are just changing right before our eyes. So much is changing. College, college has been such a staple in like most households of America for so long, and now it's just like, whether we're talking about HBCUs or we're talking about private institutions, we're talking about just college in general, after high school learning, after high school education, it's almost becoming worthless for like most of this stuff. Most of that stuff that we go to college for, that shit, AI fucking duck. So, you know, that's where I'm still just like, it's becoming to a point where you have to do this. You have to go through it. It's just like anime. You have to go through your training arc. I think self-isolation for a little bit of time, or really for however long you need, because some people might only need like a couple months. Some people might need like 2 years. 2 years is crazy, right? I mean, that's kind of what I did, but still.
If you were in your early to mid-20s, you should not be living in your room. You should be out all the time. I haven't been in my apartment for the last day and a half. I've been always outside. As soon as I get in, I go right back out. Doing work, socializing with friends, going out to eat with dinner, doing something. I can't understand how many kids our age are absolutely ridiculously isolated because all they do is sit in their room all day. If you want to actually experience life, be outside. Get out of your place. Get out of your apartment, your parents' room, everything. Just be outside. Be involved with people. Be excited to do things. Make plans. And if anything, post up at a coffee shop, get some work done. You're going to honestly feel so much better.
I do agree with what he said at the end, but the rest of that just seems like a guy that either puts up with bullshit, right, or hasn't experienced bullshit yet. Which is hard to believe because he's 20 years old. It's not like he's, 12. On not being at home since a day and a half, I guess I can kind of see that, depending on the type of lifestyle that you live. You know what I mean? Because when I filmed my first short film, I wasn't home for like a good day and a half. I honestly forgot because I was so fucking cold. It was so cold out there, y'all. It was so cold out there. I can't believe I did a short film in the middle of the coldest day on record here in like damn near a decade. I understand that, depending on what you're not being at home for, like if you're just hanging out with friends, doing this down the third and hanging out with business partners, that's, you know what I'm saying? But I guess it all depends on the type of lifestyle that you live to, for me to determine whether that's, hey, okay, I guess I can see not being at home for so long or, going on vacation. I don't know. But regardless of all that, yeah, that's somebody who sounds like they really haven't gone through, like I said, they haven't gone through a lot. They just got extremely lucky and haven't met a bunch of BS and ass people. But I mean, like I said, I think that's more than likely he's able to put up with BS from people more. Most people don't want to do that. You either can't do that or they just don't want to. And I can understand that completely. I'm somebody who's like that too. I can only be around certain people for so long before it's just like, all right, I got to get around from this person before I try to run them over. Knowing that we live in such a different time period now and how the world is changing right before our very eyes, you are going to have to adapt. We all know humans are the best at adapting. I think we adapt damn near better than what we think, than how we think, right? We adapt better than how we think because adaptation for most people comes naturally. It comes without us thinking. If we're put in a dire situation, what do most people do? You might freeze for a second, but then it's like, okay, my nigga, either you gotta run or we're gonna have to fight. I think the people who fight are the ones that understand that isolation is needed at least one time in your life. Some people have isolation periods every single year where they just disappear and then come back. You know what I'm saying? Like they did fucking Avatar or something. Understanding that we need isolation, especially now, to navigate basically the new world that we're living in. That everything was so different when I was a kid. I remember how much different shit was when I was like a kid. I'm 26 years old now. I just turned 26 yesterday. I remember how everybody was so excited for college day back in like, what was that? I think this was like 2015, like a little over a decade ago, bro. College day at my high school was insane. It went insane. I don't even know if half of the kids that are in high school now even give a damn about college day no more. You know what I'm saying? So much has changed, bro. So many people are different. The landscape of getting a job is different. Like I said, relationships are different. The way people act, the way people think. I'm not a doomer. I still love being around people and love meeting new people, but we're gonna have to adapt, man. We gotta understand that this shit, man, the world is gonna eat us up if we be out here always in people's face, always trying to learn shit from new people, being around people that probably might be the fucking lying anyway. And that's another thing too. You get so many liars nowadays. You know, somebody can be looking you dead in your face and tell you that, yeah, I once owned a 6-figure company for like 10 years. We just went under a year ago. Whole time, old boy been on and off the hardcore pills for the past decade, leeching off people, living in staircases and shit. You know what I'm saying? Willingly. He's not doing this because his life has been hard. He's doing this because he wants to. You know, lying you dead to your face. And yeah, people on YouTube lie too. People on the internet most definitely lie. You know, that just goes to show, like, yeah, I need to just do it myself. If you go out and you experience something compared to if you go out and you talk to somebody who experienced the same shit, you'll know whether they're lying or not. It's like, no, you're lying. I did it. I literally just did it. You're telling a stone-faced, stone-cold Steve Austin lie. What y'all think though, man? Do y'all think that self-isolation is needed, especially nowadays? Or do you think that just brings up your past childhood trauma? You know? I think the biggest trauma that I had as a kid, or at least one of them, had to have been when SpongeBob and Patrick died in the first SpongeBob movie. That shit right there, man, I was messed up because I paused the movie after they died. I didn't know it was still like 20-30 minutes of the fucking movie left. My little dumb ass ran off crying. I think I ran out the house crying and shit. It was terrible. It was awful. It was terrible. Some of the most tragic shit ever.